So my plan for Walters, with him not having any material prepped, was to have him join, and we can go. And we're going to be bringing Walters in weekly for some updates and possibly his own segment. Walters, why don't you introduce yourself? And then, well, my name is, and then we'll just end his meeting right there. And then that's enough for today. We'll hear from him next time.
So we're gonna make this guy get all set up to be a dick. I don't. Oof. Okay, so we're live on the YouTubes, and I'm not 100% sure what our thing is, but I'm just gonna post it on Facebook.
I'm gonna go grab a headset real quick.
Okay. Wow, chicka wow wow. Then you'll have to change your thing in voice meter, unless it just does it for you automatically.
Nope. You should talk.
I'm talking. I'm definitely talking.
Okay, now I got it, but I can hear myself.
So you'd have to, so I assume are you A1 or A2 or whatever?
Yep. So then okay, I got it.
You're hooked up now?
No, hello?
Yep, gotcha.
You
just want to unclick your own, whatever that is.
So right now?
I don't know, you tell me. Do you still hear yourself?
Nope, but I can hear you, so perfect.
Well, there you go. I mean, I'm pretty much, well, we got to do the tradition, Josh. Pick, I don't even know what the number options are, but
69.
I don't think I have that many options. Hold on, I need to get to the options. Songs, there we go. 2020. All right, so pick me a number between 1 and 22.
16.
16
and a half.
Okay, well that's not all. Okay, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. Backwards. Oh, and I suppose that won't work because I don't have the thing set up properly. Hold in there. Great content we're creating right now for our fans. We are nailing it. Ooh. Did you hear that?
I sure did.
I don't know what it was, but it's there. All right, let me know when you're ready, dog, because I'm ready. No pita chips in hand?
No.
Oh, I'm disappointed. Oh, Christ. You got your Bane face going on? Is that Bane face ready?
Yep.
All right, beautiful. Ooh, I turned you up a little too high there with that. Yep, there we go. Turned you back down just a hair. All right. Yes, normally we don't do nothing crazy. I get Audacity going and then we just go. I don't have like a cool title sequence or anything yet for us, but I didn't do the zest. Josh, just say something real quick. It's already recording, but
Zest.
I was a beautiful zest. All right, we're good to go. Alrighty.
Can I pick a new opening?
So I can honestly say I'm not 100% sure what that was, but it sure was. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hidden Oaks Overdose Football Fix podcast. I am one of your lovely hostesses, the Garlic Johnson. We are joined by your other lovely hostess, the Joshua Mitchell. Josh, say hello to the fans.
Hi, fan.
So yeah, this is it. This is season 3. We're now trying to live stream on YouTube. Don't forget, we still got the old school email address, hiddenoaksoverdose@gmail.com. Facebook.com/hoodpod is our fan page, essentially. I wish there was a better option than Facebook, but that's the most central location, so that's where we are for now. And Anchor is still a thing if you want to send us voicemails. Anchor.fm/hoodpod. I don't get a lot of traffic there, but that's where we get the best sound quality. So if you want to leave us a voicemail, anchor.fm/hoodpod is your option. Segment start times will be in the description below. Briefer show for you today. Thank you, Levi Oki, for the beautiful illustration that he created for us at Levi Oki Illustration on Instagram. That's where you'll find him. That's where you'll find some beautiful art. So, last time we podcasted, I think the last time we either podcasted or published was December 31st. And I don't think any of us knew what the coronavirus was back then. So how has that affected your life, Josh?
About as much as I just said.
0?
Well, I guess I work from home now.
Is that better or worse for your particular lifestyle?
Well, I don't know. It's about the same. Didn't really do much beforehand. Don't really do much now.
Is it nice to cut out that, like an hour and a half of commuting each day?
Yeah, that's not too bad. But then I don't get to stop in at Casey's and get a chocolate chip muffin for breakfast 3 days a week.
Was there a special like 3 days a week, or why was that your routine 3 and not 5?
Well, yeah, it's special whenever I went there.
So you were the special part of the chocolate muffin special?
Yeah. I mean, I fail to see how that's not special. It's a chocolate chip muffin.
I'm just trying to ask a clarifying question, Josh. What if someone out there was curious and wanted to know the answer to that question? I just asked it for him. That's what we do here.
I don't really think anybody listens and is going to go to Casey's for it, but you never know.
True. Also, apparently now YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, so I guess it wouldn't be nothing without a nice little bump in the road. But we're just going to keep going because we're recording the audio. Worst case, Ontario. And then, it says audio render error. Please restart your computer. That's not going to happen. So I guess we don't have to worry about that. But what a joy. What a bump in the road to have. Like I said earlier, this is the official start of season 3. So the spring pods, I think we did 3 last year. Just going to be doing 2 for you this year. They are mainly for us. They're kind of more homer and opinion heavy, whereas during the football season, I think people want less of that because they're getting inundated with it from all their other resources. But these ones are for us. Coming this fall, we're going to be making some changes to the traditional lineup. We're going to be changing the Homer Talk section. I think I call this project named it Minute to Win It, where let's just get 60 seconds to talk about whatever we want instead of going on and on like we used to. We're going to add a little comedy bit. We'll be talking about that in just a moment. You can probably go ahead and give the green, since they won't be able to see it on the stream. You can probably just give that person the green flag to join. And then I'm stealing it from K-Fan, but I'm thinking a top 5 type bit for next year would be cool. Like each week, just be a small, maybe funny bit where we just list our personal top 5s of something like snack cakes, or it could be football related, but just each make a top 5 list, and then you have a chance to get fans to react and give you their own top 5, and I don't know, a little more interactive of a segment than us just giving our opinions out. So those are some things coming this fall. Josh, anything else you want to say before we get right down to the dirty?
I'm tired.
And how's that going for you?
Well, it's going okay for me, but for the quality of the podcast, let's not expect a whole lot. Where are we? We're at the other segment at the bottom there?
No, this was all still the intro. I mean, you were off doing some other stuff there for a little bit. I barely had your attention, so I just had to keep going. The people needed content, you know.
Yeah, I was inviting somebody.
Well, speaking of somebody, so I guess we will move on to the free agency segment. This is going super smoothly so far. We are nailing it, but that's what these spring pods are about. Try some new things, some beta testing. And speaking of beta testing, our first segment here is going to be free agency, and the Hidden Oaks Overdose has made a free agency signing. We signed him maybe, I don't know, 4 weeks ago. So last year, a big theme.
Pending his physical.
Well, that's true. We haven't been able to get our hands on him yet. Our doctors have not been able to see him yet. But assuming the physical is passed, we have signed Mr. Ryan Walters. Last year, we devastated him and his podcast in the podcast wars, basically put him out of business, thank the XFL, and we signed him. We picked up the scraps of that. We didn't want to sign Jack. Is there any particular reason we didn't want to sign Jack? Because he didn't volunteer to help us out, or?
Well, I just think that we went with the one that's gonna participate and give us some good content, and you know, Walters has his own segment name already. Jack, I couldn't think of anything right now off the top of my head like I could with Walters.
Sure.
There's a little bit better chemistry. You know, the Three Stooges. You got the Brains, the Brawn. That's you, and then the goofy Gangle. That's Walters there. If Brad knew how to work the microphone and the internet, we might have had him instead of Walters, but we needed some technology.
Someone who knows
technological savvy individual. Yep.
Right. I mean, I was going to say, I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but we did sign Walters to be our head of research and development, R&D. So in case I hadn't said that already, I'll say it now. So that's what we signed him to be.
So he's done.
Yeah. I mean, he said to give him a minute, so I don't know what that means, but I don't know, give him a minute, I guess. We can move on to some other free agency talk while we wait for Walters to join and for us to make fun of him. There was obviously some major free agency moves that happened within the last month or so. Big ones being the QBs moving everywhere, and a couple of them moving nowhere. Brady, obviously, huge one. Tampa Bay, one that no one really seems to be talking about but me, is Rivers to the Colts. We got Teddy Bridgewater as a Panther now. Nick Foles as a Bear. Kyle Allen followed Ron Rivera to Washington. Case Keenum, a move almost no one probably knows about, is now the backup to Baker Mayfield, reuniting with Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland. Marcus Mariota is a Raider. And Cam Newton and Jameis Winston are nowhere to be found just yet. So, if you had to guess,
kind of goes along with our hot take last year of Cam Newton retiring.
Yeah, I mean, but we thought that was going to be for health reasons, not because no one wanted them on his team. We thought it'd be his decision, not decided for him. But
yeah, and Jameis is he's walking into the interviews like, I'm going to eat some W's, and then they just kick him out before they even start.
I mean, that dude's in the 30-30 club. I don't know. I don't remember the stats or the statistic on who was all in the 30-30 club, but that's pretty prestigious. 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions in 1 year. That's
I haven't done that in my life, so yeah, it's pretty good.
I've never even come close.
Yeah.
Go for it. You can hit the next bullet.
Oh, Bill O'Brien. I don't know why you put this bullet down. I'm just assuming it's because he makes silly major moves.
Well, I mean, you definitely had some things to say during the move, so I just assumed you would have an opinion if I were to prompt you with that, but maybe you don't.
Oh, no, I guess I don't necessarily remember what I'd said. I just know that, if you're going to move DeAndre Hopkins and, top talent like that and not even get a first round draft pick, then you're doing something wrong. So I don't know what the deal is with him. His butt chin annoys me. He's probably not going to be the Texans head coach for the entire year. Hot take number 1.
Ooh, we weren't going to do that segment next year, but I mean, we can do some hot takes right now if you want. You think Bill O'Brien's going to get fired? He's currently the GM and the head coach, so they would need to fill 2 holes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nope. He's going to fire himself. He's just going to sit down, third quarter of a game, sit down on the sideline, pull his crayons out, start coloring, and then he's going to write, "I quit," but he's going to spell quit wrong.
How's he going to spell quit?
QWIT. Oh, I said wrong. QIT.
Excellent. All right. Well, those were some of the major non-Homer related news. Josh, I put your first prompt in there for you, but just because of dynasty implications. But what were some of the big fantasy free agency moves, not necessarily fantasy related, that you cared about this off season?
Well, Gurley, I guess I care about just because I like him, like you said, I have him in dynasty. He went to Atlanta, right?
Yeah, he is currently a Falcon.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't think it's a bad location for him. They air the ball out a lot, so he'll get some rest, but then he'll still get his usage. But the big one that I care about, Silver Fox, aka Mason Crosby.
Honestly, I didn't know who that was when you put in Silver Fox, so I'm glad
he signed with Green Bay again.
Oh, thank God.
We lost. Your name popped up. We signed a couple guys. Kirksey, he's okay-ish once he's healthy.
Who the hell is Kirksey?
Kirksey, he's a linebacker.
Okay.
And then we lost, Wagner, who's an okay-ish tackle, more of a depth signing. He might start because we don't have anybody. We also signed Devin Funchess, and then we re-signed Alan Lazard and Whitewater Jesus, aka Jake Kumaro.
Jake Kumaro? Is it Kumaro or is it Kumaro?
Depends on who you ask.
Okay.
We lost Kyler Fackrell, Blake Martinez, 2 of our better linebackers, and that's kind of, if Fackrell's one of the better linebackers, that's kind of saying something. Yikes. We lost Geronimo. I don't know if that's key. We lost Jimmy Graham's contract. Dan the Man Vital went to New England. Just, I'm going to miss that guy. And then, of course, the biggest loss of all, Iowa.
Brian Balaga is now a Charger of all things.
Iowa. Yeah. I can see, I don't think the Packers wanted to pay him. That's why they signed Wagner. But, I mean, we lost a lot, didn't get a whole lot back, so the draft is going to be pretty big.
How many picks do y'all got this year? Do you know off the top?
10.
Ooh. Is that back heavy? Is that front heavy? Like, I don't know if you
back.
have okay. So, I mean, it's possible to definitely mine some talent out of there. A little more challenging, but it's better than nothing. So,
well, I've been convening with Mr. Gerbschmidt on a regular basis and sending our thoughts into the Green Bay facilities.
There's a bunch of losers in Minnesota.
Yep. Nope. And that's actually how we sign off every letter we send in. So.
I mean, you're in Minnesota, right? So when he said you guys are a bunch of losers, I assume that includes you.
It's the 3% of me that is considered a loser. Yes. Yep. It's all the Minnesota part.
All right. Well, I will take over now so you can try and get Walters in here. I had him send out his email because you can invite to Zoom through email, right? That's how you got me in here, at least. So I'll start talking about the free agency moves I cared about. Obviously, I'm a Vikings fan. Vikings lost a lot of players, especially on the defense. Diggs, we were able to trade.
Hotmail.
Diggs, we were able to trade and get a first and a couple other picks. I think it was maybe a 4th and a 5th or something like that. So that's nice. We were able to get something for Diggs rather than him just walking. Everson is gone. He said goodbye. Hasn't signed with another team yet. So there's a couple out in the local media who think maybe Everson comes back on a vet minimum deal or something if no one else out there wants to sign him. But we'll see. Rhodes is a Colt. Trey Waynes is either a Brown or a Bengal, I forget. Mackenzie Alexander and Waynes went to the same team, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. They went to Ohio somewhere. Josh Klein, we caught him, which was surprising because he had a a more minimal contract. Stephen Weatherly, J-Ron Curse, Andrew Sendejo, and the biggest loss we suffered this whole off season, fucking Laquan Treadwell. I don't know how we'll ever get another failed third down conversion, or another pick off someone's hands, but we're going to have to struggle through and persevere. Maybe Chad Beebe can have terrible hands, but for now we're just...
I think that's why you guys brought in Tajay Sharp.
Is that what it is? He's the Treadwell replacement?
Yep. Okay. Ooh, we have someone waiting to join.
Oh my God.
Shall we do what we discussed prior?
I mean, I'm going to let you decide because you're the controller of the meeting, but... Yeah, buddy. Ooh. Oh,
wow.
Look at that sexy man.
Nice mic. Did you zip tie something to it?
We can't hear you talking for real though, by the way, just so you know. You might want to check your settings in Zoom. But I'll keep going since we don't have Walters yet. He'll interrupt me if his mic ever actually works.
Does it work now?
Oh, there he
Unfortunately.
is. There he is.
There's this button that says join with audio. I did not do that.
You just wanted us to, in a podcast, you wanted people to be able to see you but not to hear you. That's what we call a bold strategy, Cotton.
I didn't know what was worse, people seeing me or people hearing me, so I figured I would try it one way first.
Well, I mean, so for anyone who doesn't already somehow know, this is Mr. Ryan Walters. We were thinking to ourselves last year, Jamie went out of her way to complain about us talking about Walters so much, and then Nikita echoed Jamie. So we thought, what way to better respect and respond to our listeners than to get Walters as a more permanent aspect of the podcast. So, Walters, is there anything you want to say to the fans out there?
First, I'd like to apologize to Josh. I'm sure you had to have a sit down.
All right, that was Ryan Walters, everybody. We'll hear from him
I feel so
next
bad
week.
about that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like that guy went out of his... okay, well, I guess that's what we're doing.
If he tries to join back in, we'll let him join, but I just had to get that bit in. All right, so next moves.
It was a funny... Oh, we're not... Okay, so I was still talking. That was all during my... Anything. Anyways, I just made a joke in the notes that at least the Vikings re-signed the two guys that kick, and then I said Cries and Cluey. So, but Dan Bailey and... what's his name? Britton Colquitt? I forget what his first name is, but Colquitt re-signed the punter as well. Lastly, I am high on Tampa Bay this year. Bruce Arians, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski. That excites me. I'm also excited for Indianapolis. I think the hookup of Phillip Rivers and Frank Reich is going to be huge. I think a lot of people are underplaying that and or just ignoring it straight out because there's bigger news out there. And then Tyrod in Los Angeles with the Chargers. I'm excited to see that because I was always a Rivers fan, and now we'll see if I can still be a Chargers fan without Rivers there. They just came out with some pretty sexy uniforms, so they got me hooked so far, but that's the way she goes.
Yeah.
Walter said, I cannot rejoin it now.
Oops. All right. Damn it, Walters. Now I feel bad.
It was a good bit, though. That was a good bit. We'll see if we can get him back here real quick. So how does Nikita feel about you working from home? Because she still goes to work, right?
Nope, she works from home. She's 1 week on, 1 week off. So this week has been her week. This has been her week to work from home. So we've been working in the same room. She's done at 1 every day. So I get jealous as I sit here and work for the next 3 hours.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Hotmail. I still can't believe that.
But what's the superior email provider, Josh? If people shouldn't be using Hotmail, what should they be using?
I don't know. They might as well be using like charter.net or something like that.
Do you get an email through your internet service provider? Do you have a charter email?
I don't even know. They'd probably mess that up somehow too.
Christ. Yeah. Great audio content. Ooh, all right. Well, we might have to just move on from Walters unless Josh works some magic, but we can move on to our next segment here of the real NFL draft. That is tomorrow. And apparently we're only at 19 minutes, so I thought we were doing much worse on time, but we're actually not doing that bad. But obviously, real NFL draft is tomorrow. Huge news. With everyone shelter in place, with COVID-19 destroying the world, I assume the draft is going to have huge ratings. Everyone at home will be watching. But Josh, hop right into what do you think your Packers are going to do in the draft?
Well, first off, they're not going to try and get somebody to rejoin the thing. Second off, they have 10 picks. I put question marks picks leave because I do feel that they could trade back, probably trade out of the first since they have a 30th overall. And people do value that 5th rounder, but they probably value capital more, so they'll get a 2nd and 3rd instead. So then they go into this day 2 with 4 picks instead of just 2, because I believe they just do the 2nd and 3rd, correct?
And day 2 has traditionally just been the 2nd and 3rd. That is correct. Yep.
So they'll have 4 instead of 2. They have a deep wide receiver class, which is one of the needs. So if they don't have like a stud inside linebacker or tackle or interior lineman, I guess all offensive line available at 30, that's when I could see them trading back, and then picking up one of those 2 as well as a wide receiver in the 2nd. But otherwise, my other note on here was that I'd love to see Winfield Jr. in Green Bay just to see how the Minnesota super homers react.
Okay. What differentiates a homer from a super homer? This I have to know.
Well, I mean, I think it's safe to say that you're a homer, correct?
I would define homer for me, because I want to say yes, but I mean, I also like to think I'm pretty objective for the team. Like I'm not just.
Well, yeah, and so you're a fan. And you're pretty objective, but then you definitely have some biases when it comes to certain things. Like,
oh, sure. Yeah. I'm not above bias.
But a super homer is one that is going to, the Green Bay Packers in a hypothetical situation could have won the Super Bowl 48 consecutive seasons. And a super homer is going to go, yeah, well, they suck. Green Bay sucks.
That's
and
true.
So you'll find most of your super homers on the subreddit for Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they gotta congregate somewhere.
Right. And then you'll also find those exact same people at various AA meetings around the state. And by AA, I mean Annoying Ass Pastries Anonymous.
Annoying ass pastry. Oh, Walters. So when we're streaming on YouTube, we do have a live chat. And so I noticed Walters had posted, there's not a timestamp right next to it that I can see, but he said, hi folks. So I just said, hi buddy, back to be funny.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Well, what do you think about the Vikings?
Well, so obviously Vikes traded Diggs, so we got an extra first rounder. However, we got picks 22 and 25 because the Bills did do well last year. So nothing crazy. We're not going to make the biggest splash in the world. What I put in my fucking notes here? Okay. So first of all, I think so. It's kind of tempered down the last couple days or two from at least the media outlets that I listen to, but for a good 2-3 weeks, everyone was freaking out that the Vikings absolutely have to take a wide receiver in the first round, potentially even trading up in the first round to take a stud wide receiver. I don't know if these people, to replace Stephon Diggs, obviously. I don't know if these people seem to remember or not, but Stephon Diggs, the guy they want to replace with a super top pick, was a 4th round pick. Adam Thielen, our other guy, undrafted free agent. So it's not like the only way to have talent at wide receiver is a top 10 pick. So I think most of Minnesota needs to chill. Obviously, it'd be nice to get someone, a good receiver that can start right away. But with all the needs this team has, I think, and how allegedly deep this wide receiver class is, I can't go a second without hearing that. But do we really need to draft a top wide receiver? I personally don't think so. We could wait till round 2, 3. I wouldn't want to see wide receiver before then. So that's just me.
No, I wasn't listening to a word you said, but let's get hypothetically here. Let's say they're sitting there and their second pick in the first round is what, 24?
Our second
26?
pick in the first round is 25. We have 22 and 25.
Okay, so 25. Let's say they're going in 22, and then the war room they have, I don't know who's there, but we'll just say Zimmer and PA. And PA
Why
just
would
like,
PA be in the fucking... Okay, anyways,
for
your hypothetical...
He probably snuck in with a fake mustache.
It's Zim and PA, got it. Okay, yep.
Okay. And let's, 5 guys, they're over there crossing wide receiver names off. And they get to pick 22. Well, okay. No, we can wait. So then you guys take a quarterback. I don't care who.
A quarterback or a
you
corner?
just take somebody. You trade back.
Okay, that's a classic Spielman move, sure.
And then one more wide receiver comes off the board. So the top 7 wide receivers, we'll say, are off the board.
Sure.
Do they panic pick Laquan Treadwell again?
I mean, if you're gonna panic pick, I'm sure you've seen the breaking news today. If they're gonna take someone in the first round, they're gonna take Percy Harvin again. They're gonna bring that dude in, get some migraines, maybe smoke some ganj since the league has loosened up on that testing. And if we're gonna panic pick anyone, we're taking Percy Harvin. What does it mean?
Josh Gordon.
Do you think Josh Gordon will get reinstated for the 98th time?
98th? Please. It's like his 15th.
I guess.
Also, Walters, if you're listening, I apologize for kicking you.
I mean, he apologizes a little bit, probably not too much, but anyway, so in the first round, I'm thinking the Vikings are going to do some trading back, unless they're in love with one of the talents there, but other than wide receiver, clearing needs our offensive line, like they always are. I'm told that this is not a good interior lineman draft, so very unlikely we take a guard with 22 or 25. Potentially some tackles could fall to us. Riley Reif is an okay left tackle. He's definitely not a permanent long-term solution, so maybe we'll take a left tackle at 22 or 25. Zimmer loves taking first-round corners, so high possibility we take a corner if we don't trade back in the first. So I'm thinking those are our moves. I saw some people having us take an edge rusher. I find that being highly unlikely. And we don't really necessarily need an immediate starter 3 technique because we did sign Michael Pierce. So, I don't know. In a dream world, in my dream draft, the Vikings would take the 2 best guards at 22 and 25, but that's not going to happen. So, I assume we're going to trade back if I had to be a bet man. If we take a receiver, I'm not going to say I'm pissed, but I think unless all the tackles are gone and all the corners are gone, I think it would be a waste to take a receiver at 22 or 25. And yeah, the homers want the Gophers. So you already mentioned Antoine Winfield Jr. I wouldn't be upset if we get him. Our safety situation is in flux. Anthony Harris was franchise tagged, but we don't know if he's going to stay or not. We've been trying to shop him for a second. Apparently we're not getting bites for a second, but maybe we will draft day. But we could either use Winfield Jr. as a corner or a safety, so I wouldn't be opposed to that in the second. Probably not going to take him with the first, but we might. I won't cry if we took Winfield Jr. with one of our first rounders. And Tyler Johnson, probably not going to happen, but it'd probably sell a lot of jerseys, so depending on what Slick Rick is thinking, Winfield Jr. or Tyler Johnson at any point in the draft would certainly sell a lot of merch. So we'll see what happens there. Last notes here. I said the draft is going to be huge. Ratings are going to be off the chart. And then from what I'm hearing, it sounds like there's going to be plenty of movement in the first round. So hopefully tomorrow night is exciting. The first round's obviously a little slow. They get, 10 minutes a pick, and there's only 32 picks. So if your team's got one of the last picks, it's going to be pretty boring. But hopefully there's some excitement. There's talk the Dolphins are moving, the Lions are moving, the Chargers could move. I think the Redskins are up there. They could move. So plenty of potential for exciting stuff to happen. But we will see, Josh. Any particular trade scenarios you're seeing, Packers related or not, that you think would be good or cool?
Other than the one that I just mentioned, trade out of the first, get a second and third. My guess is it would be with somebody with like a middling pick in those rounds. So like the Broncos or someone like that. Not necessarily needing a lot because they have young talent, but want to move up and grab some more young talent. And they have other needs in the Packers. Other than that, I think it would. I really want to see. I want to see Roger Goodell have like a boo soundtrack in the background since he's reading it from his home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has it. So it seems like he's actually at the draft. I guess that's really all I've really thought about is the boo soundtrack. I care less about who gets picked.
That's a huge thing to think about. Do you think, because it's a fun question, do you think someone drafts up to 2 for Tua? And who is it? Is it the Chargers? Is it the Dolphins? Okay, so yeah, first question, does someone trade up for 2 for Tua? It's a lot of fucking twos.
No, I don't think so. Just because I think Chase Young is probably going to be the number 2 pick. I mean, he could have been number 1 if the Bengals didn't absolutely need a quarterback.
Andy Dalton's just not doing it for you, huh?
No, he hasn't done it for them for what, 20 years?
He's definitely not been in the league 20 years, but they've been in need of some help for a bit. So I think the last time I heard the Vegas line on Tua was 2.5. So do you take the over or the under on that? So if you're saying no one trades up for Tua, you must be taking the over on that. And then how far does Tua slide in your scenario then? 5, 6, 10, 20?
I think he falls out of the top 10.
Oh, really? Okay. So obviously in that scenario, the Chargers or the Dolphins, some potentially QB needy teams are not taking him. So then I guess where do you see Tua landing if he falls? Not that you know every pick in the first round, but
I think he goes to Green Bay in the 7th.
You want to give an actual answer? Is that what you're sticking with?
No, I don't know. I guess his injury might throw. Like, I know that he's been cleared, but that's going to throw a little bit of a...
there will be some caution, certainly.
Yeah, there's going to be some red tape around that. There's going to be, there's some red tape on his size because he's a little bit smaller, although quarterbacks have proved that that's kind of silly. But then I just feel like there's going to be a little bit more focus on Russell Wilson. But I just feel like... once you get past like the Bengals and stuff, those other teams have young QBs still. Like Tyrod, he's proved himself as a starter in the past, and the Dolphins are just a dysfunctional organization to begin with, so they probably will draft a punter. And then moving, past that, there's still teams with young quarterbacks that they've already taken. Do you really think that the Browns are going to take another quarterback early? Probably not. I'm trying to think of other bad teams. The Redskins, probably not. Who else? Name a bad team. The Vikings, probably not.
Yeah, probably not. Not after that Kirk Cousins re-signing.
So, yeah, I mean, I just see him falling out of the top 10. Now, if he does that, I could see one of those teams that passed on him with like the 2nd through 9th pick trading up.
Because the Dolphins have 3 first-rounders. I don't know what their other 2 are, but I know the Dolphins have 3 first-rounders, so they are a potential. I don't know what their other numbers are, but they could always take them again if they pass the first time.
Yep, and I could see that being a likely scenario. I didn't know they had 3. To be honest, the research that I have done on the draft this year is about as much as I did on getting my speakers to work prior to the podcast.
Okay, well, I mean, at least that I know you're putting in effort, and I appreciate that about you, Josh.
Yep. Do you think Walters gave up?
I'm going to assume so. I'm going to assume Walters gave up because you said it should work now. He sent you that support link. I didn't read it. I told him to try. I mean, almost everyone in the world has multiple email addresses, so even if that one email address was banned or whatever, I assume he could have joined under another email address, but you may or may not have pissed him off. I know Walters is usually a pretty lovable guy, but there's always potential there that feathers were ruffled.
I thought he would understand it's for the bit.
He's not going full rube on you right now?
Probably, I guess not. But I do think that we should try and pace it out so when he does rejoin, we end the entire meeting right when he joins.
I mean, if he's still even putting an effort, I'm sure we could line that up. But anyways, we can move on unless you had something else to say there.
Nope.
All right, so we have our Dynasty Draft coming up this weekend. We're doing it on Sunday. I've always kind of wanted to do our draft right after the real draft, just because for the memes, essentially, but also because I think it's fun for our Dynasty League to mirror the real league as much as we can. So we got our Hidden Oaks Dynasty Draft Sunday, 5 p.m. Central Time. If you're in the league, be there or be square. But I do have some breaking news regarding that league, Josh, and it's not... I mean, it's depending on how you want to look at it. It's not necessarily good news, not necessarily bad news, but if you had to guess who abruptly quit the Hidden Oaks Dynasty League today, who would you guess?
Jalen.
You would be wrong.
Nate?
Give you one more.
Jesse.
Wrong again. It was Mr. Wilbert Schultz has left the the beautiful Hidden Oaks Dynasty League. But I have already found his replacement. So we'll be losing one of the Schultz family, but we'll be bringing in essentially another. Nick Cremier has agreed to take Willie's place. Willie cited that 5 leagues was just too much for him and raising an infant. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. Wish he would have gave me more than 4 days notice. But Nick was super cool about it. He offered to jump right in. So that I'll get Nick in sleeper here after the podcast. But so some breaking news on our Hidden Oaks Dynasty League. Willie is out. Nick Cremier is in. We'll see how that goes. He's got the number 3 pick. So speaking of top picks, Josh, you said you haven't done a lot of draft research. Does that mean you've done 0 draft research for who you might take? I know you don't have a high pick because you did well last year, but no thoughts at all about who you might want on your dynasty roster from a rookie perspective.
No. I honestly could. I think I can name maybe 1 player that's not 3 players total, 1 player that's not a quarterback.
Okay. Who's
and
the
I
one?
only know his last name is Lamb.
CD Lamb, I believe, is the name you're looking for on that one.
Yep. Compact disc Lamb.
Okay, so we kind of broke the notes out into. All right, here, I'll ask the question I put in the notes. How much emphasis do you put on where a player is drafted in the real NFL draft into where whether or not you take them for your team? So essentially, how much do you care about what team they're on in the real NFL for your fantasy team?
No, I mean, I guess if it's like a running back or, skill, a running back, obviously you want somebody with a decent offensive line. That's why Josh Jacobs was highly touted last year, because Oakland had a great offensive line and loved the run. Same with, who was it a couple years ago? Fournette and Zeke.
Yeah.
Zeke was a top pick because of that. But then guys like Gurley fell because the Rams had a bad O-line. Guys like Kamara. Well, I guess I got Kamara in the first still, but there's the offensive line is a big thing, but for wide receivers, it's not necessarily. I mean, if they're a blue chip top talent and they should be number 1 overall in Dynasty, that's where I'd still take them, because look at what DeAndre Hopkins did with his slew of quarterbacks. He had Brock Osweiler throwing it to him, and he's still number 1 wideout for fantasy, or top 3.
Sure.
Devontae Adams had a season full of backups throwing it to him, and he did fine. So wide receivers, I'm a little bit more lenient on a running back, so I'm not going to take a running back that goes to a team with another, if a top tier running back lands in Green Bay, I'm not going to take him early just because, got Aaron Jones, Jamal Williams already. I'm not going to take anybody that goes to Dallas or any of those places really. And so that's kind of where we get into the hit and miss.
Gotcha. So you definitely put some weight into it. It depends on how skilled they are, but also, who might be in front of them. We did, after that, we broke it down to blue chips and gambles. If you didn't do a lot of research, you can't be helping me out too much here, but you wrote down BPA and not BPA, and I don't know what that means. So what do you...
Oh, best player available and not the best player available.
Okay. So you're just... okay. So for blue chips is going to be the best player available, and your gambles are not the best player available. But in theory, okay, never mind that. Everything you wrote hangs up. I was going to try and logic lawyer you, but you're absolutely right. So I mean, I guess since you don't know, I have done a smidgen of draft research myself, since we do have our Dynasty Draft coming up on Sunday. Another side note about the Dynasty League, I have not heard from Garrett at all. I've tried to reach out to him on 4 different platforms, and I think Garrett might be dead. So might be co-owner list this season. But anyways, Jonathan Taylor and DeAndre Swift are arguably the 2 best running backs, which they're probably not going to go tomorrow night, because running backs in the first round are a thing of the past in modern history. I think Josh Jacobs did go in the first round last year, but that's more because John Gruden wanted him and Mike Mayock likes to be splashy, so they took him. But it would not be shocking if there were no running backs taken in the first round tomorrow. But those are the 2 best for dynasty perspectives. J.K. Dobbins as well is in that top tier. DeAndre Smith and Jonathan Taylor are certainly the top 2, but J.K. Dobbins is right there behind him. You already mentioned CeeDee Lamb as well as Jerry Jeudy are some of the top receivers out there. T. Higgins is in that conversation as well. Some names I wrote down in no particular order are Denzel Mims, wide receiver, Cam Akers, A.J. Dillon, Justin Jefferson, Clyde, what the hell's his name? Clyde Edwards Hilaire? I don't know. But if you were ever a fan of Ray Lewis, apparently the CED, as people are calling him, Clyde Edwards Hilaire, apparently killed a guy. They say it's in self-defense, but if you're looking for a killer on your team, if you know what I mean, go for CED or CEH, excuse me. And then Drayton Evans, Antonio, can't read my own notes, Gande Golden, Michael Pittman, Harry Ruggs, Jalen Reagor, Joe Burrow, obviously, we think is going number 1 overall. Tua is up there as well. So those are kind of all the top tier players in no particular order. But so you'd recognize none of those names other than Tua or Joe Burrow and CeeDee Lamb?
Correct. Although now that I'm looking at them, yeah, I kind of do.
Because I know
kind of recognize them.
I certainly don't watch college football at all. The fact that I watched the Gophers this year because they were good was almost a miracle. But you yourself watch really no college ball?
No, not really. So, I mean, I knew them just from listening to the radio, listening to different mocks. So, yeah.
I don't know if you see our show notes are currently being possessed, but anyone who's in the live stream, which I'm pretty sure is no one, Walters has typed into the show notes because he has access. He will get his revenge. So that's a little scary. Luckily, Walters does not know where I live. He does happen to know where you live, however, so hopefully I can use this to my advantage. But we got that going for us. So you got no other thoughts you want to throw out there for the Dynasty Draft on Sunday, Josh? Obviously, we'll be able to cover it much better next week after the real NFL Draft and the Dynasty Draft have occurred. But
yeah, no, I have nothing really to add. I apologize for my poor performance. I've been staring at this computer all day and I hate it. I did respond to Walters and his revenge comment. So I hope it's not true, but he's going to start. I just said, are you going to start another podcast?
I mean, what's the third time's the charm, right? Because his first two have spun out and failed, I guess. Yeah. Well, his first one,
I would say none of them are his fault.
Oh, I mean, we can blame him entirely because Al is still going and Dave is out there. They've moved on to bigger and better things. They had to take over a different podcast that wasn't there to be successful, but I mean, they're out there bigger than us right now. So, last question for you, Josh, in the Dynasty section before we hit our outro. Do you think you're going to try and make any trades in the Dynasty Draft, whether it's players or just picks for picks? You're going to try and move up or move down? Because what is your position in the draft? I don't happen to know off the top of my head. You came in second last year, or you came in third?
I think I came in fourth.
Okay.
So I think I
would make you seventh.
We'll have to see. I'll probably spend the majority of my time studying this week here, tomorrow and Friday, and then kind of make a decision from there. I'm really happy with my roster. I just haven't had the ball bounce my direction lately. So, figure that's just the way she goes. But
she goes. And not that we need to give Jesse any tips out there, but so you mentioned taking a wide receiver first overall in Dynasty. I think most people would say that's crazy. And I'm not going to say there's any causation here, only 100% correlation. But the year Garrett and I took Mike Williams, number 1 overall, instead of Leonard Fournette or Dalvin Cook or some of the other talents in that draft, when we took Mike Williams overall, that was the year we won the championship. So not saying, just saying, Jesse, if you want a wide receiver, that's how I won a championship. So.
Oh, apparently I did take third. Huh, who'd have thunk?
All right, so you took third, so that means you're drafting 8th. I guess you'll have to do some research and see if you want to trade up and target anyone or if you're just going to sit where you're at. But we will see. We will move on to the outro then, Josh. I can feel we're both kind of ready just to get done with this, so we will wrap it up here. We're only at the 45-minute mark, so we're doing pretty good. We appreciate...
My projected pick is a kicker. What?
Well, so I have it set in sleeper to be sorted alphabetically. So not to pick on people like Jesse or others who are going to do no research and then just essentially auto draft in Sleeper and take the best rookies available, which will annoy people who are actually trying. It's just sorted alphabetically. So if you auto draft, you'll just take all the A's probably.
That's awkward for about 6 out of 10 members.
Well, that's what they get, I suppose. But I think the only confirmed absence is going to be Nate. So, and he said he's setting up his queue. So we'll see. Anyways, outro again. We appreciate everyone for listening. This is our first live stream. You know, depending on whether or not people ever tune in, we might just go back to the regular audio. But this is the spring. We're probably going to get 3-4 listeners anyways. Might as well try something new. Josh, is next work week for you, or do you want to do 2 weeks from now to do the post-draft pod? What are you thinking?
2 weeks.
2 weeks? Don't want to rush into it?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, so we'll be back in 2 weeks then if Josh doesn't... meeting has been upgraded by the host. I saw some message there. Maybe that was really old, but anyways, we'll be back in 2 weeks. We'll have some more analysis for you then. We will give draft grades because we know how useful those are right after the draft. We will also grade the Dynasty Draft for funsies. Josh and I'm sure we'll be bragging about our picks, even though because so talk about my picks. I have pick 2, pick 4, pick 12, and pick 13. So in the top 13 picks, I have 4 picks. So not saying my team's going to blow up because rookies probably aren't going to contribute that much to my Dynasty roster, but I've got the potential to be great.
How did you get those picks? Never mind. Who cares?
Well, Garrett and I came in second to last, so we got second and 12 on our own. And then I traded Austin Eckler, because at the time he was sitting behind Melvin Gordon, so we traded him for a first rounder with Jalen. And then I got Willie's second rounder when he was still part of the league. I don't remember what the trade was, but we got Willie's second rounder. So, and that was pick 13 because Willie came in third to last.
Perfect.
So yeah, everyone out there, stay safe. Obviously, coronavirus is fucking up the world, but we're still able to bring you this great content that I know you love so much. HiddenOaksOverdose@gmail.com, Facebook.com/hoodpod, Anchor.fm/hoodpod. I don't think we have a custom URL on YouTube because we're not a big deal, but YouTube channel obviously as well now. We love you. We miss you.
HiddenOaksOverdose.com.
I bought that domain. Just so you know.
No, you didn't.
Oh, I did. We're probably never going to do anything with it, but for $8 a year, I don't want to lose money on this deal, Josh. So anyways,
I'm going there right now.
There's no website there. I mean, it'll just say it's a Namecheap website because I bought the domain, but obviously you have to load a website onto your domain. That's how it works. But yeah, I'm going to play the outro song now because I think people want to get going and I want to get going. I got some dinner to eat, and it is my birthday after all, so.
Happy birthday.
Aw, Josh.
Yeah. Happy birthday. Have like 9 steaks, maybe 10.
Or not. I mean, are you going to provide me with 9 steaks? Because steak sounds great.
No.
Oh. Go to sleep's coming in a little choppy there. That's not great. Good thing the podcast is over, right? Attempted to talk, but I didn't hear what you said.
I just went,
No.
nothing. I was just going to Namecheap, see if I could hack in and start editing that website.
Gosh, I have a firm believer, unless you pop an Addy, you will never get into that fucking website. We'll hang up we'll stop Audacity. And I guess, Josh,
deuces.
that was it.